prosecutors, snitches, stooges, all against you. You there going to try to beat a case against the feds. And any witness you call, they'll come in, hey, you're going to testify for Sweet Johnny, huh? Yeah, I was thinking about it. I said, well, let me see, you got 7 or 8 cases you said. My goodness, they look pretty bad too. Said, now, if you were to not testify, we might be able to do a little something about at least 3 or 4 of them. Might be able to run them all together. Instead of you getting 75 years, how about we get you 3 years, send you out to federal prison camp somewhere, maybe Lumber Park camp or anywhere. Stay out there 18 months. No, not now. If you got 3 years, you're going to do almost all of them. But that's the way they used to do, right? Well, what's your witness going to say? Don't say, yeah, boss, I think that's a good idea. And you can't get no witnesses to help, right? Why? Because they all know if they come into the court and defend you, right? If they don't have a case, they're going to get one in a minute, isn't that right? So that means the whole government, you know, is against you. And I want to stop just a minute because this is serious. We was telling all the big cats downtown, all the civil rights organizations, you know, those who care and all of them. And they're supposed to always pass out information about if the FBI come along, if you go to the grand jury, and what to do. So we was telling them what they ought to do and how to handle situations if they go in the courthouse. They wouldn't listen. They don't listen to us because we don't have a degree in law. When we talk to Answer and all the big-time white folks down there, and we try to explain to them that we come from jailhouse law, and we know what we're doing because they didn't use the thing on us, so we know what we're talking about. They think we don't know what we're talking about. And I was telling one of the brothers, in the 1970s, the biggest case that these groups, you know, the courts will use the courts for themselves against the enemy. They had Italian in California. If anybody was there from San Francisco area, they didn't know that one of them was scheduled, it used to be the mayor, that they was thinking about him for vice president, you know. Now, what they do is, they don't want him to get anywhere close to it. You know, everybody knows the Aliotos. It's a big family of Italians. And they always try to paint them as so-called mafia influence. So they didn't want, the other white folks didn't want the later coming white folks to get anywhere close to this presidency. So all they got to do is give you a case. They don't have to win the case. All they got to do is get you in the court, right? And then your name is smeared, and you can't do nothing from then on. Not in their system. So we was in the penitentiary. They come around Leavenworth. I done told you, but I never told you who it was. So they said, oh, so-and-so, you want it in the mail room. So I run down to the mail room, thinking I got a package, you know, where you get you a package or something. That's the only reason they would call you. I run down there, and they opened the door and said, come on in. I looked around. I said, my goodness. So I eased in. They slammed the door. They said, this is Mr. So-and-so. They pull out their card. Same old story, the FBI. And they just want to talk to you. I said, oh, no. So I'm getting out of here now. So y'all got to let me out of here because, you know, if you got a good reputation, everybody like you, you can sleep in your bed without people trying to cut your throat for snitching or nothing. I said, y'all got to let me out of here now. And I'm talking loud, so everybody walk by the mail room, they know I'm not in that time. I said, you got to open the door now. Finally, they opened the door. And I went on there and said, well, we're going to come get you anyway. We want you to testify in Arizona. They had a big case. This is a big drug case, the biggest case they had in those days, of drug smuggling from across the border in Arizona, then to California and everything. So we know the grand jury system. Whoever it is they want to give a case to, they say, oh, well, come on in and sit down. We want you to say, we supposed to be going home next year. I say, yeah, I sure am. They said, well, we'd like to help you go on home a little earlier. I said, no, that's all right. I'll just wait till my date come up. So, well, we could also send you to camp while you wait, you know, and we get you on out in her. I said, oh, no, that's all right. No, I've already done my time. I'll be waiting. They said, well, we want you to look at these pictures, same old story, right, and testify to help us. I said, oh, no, I'm not looking at no pictures. I wouldn't even look at the pictures. So then they started getting mad. They said, well, if you don't, we're going to give you immunity 3 times. So you're going to come in 3 times. We're going to give you immunity. If you refuse, we're going to give you 6 months. Then we're going to give you immunity again. If you refuse, this is the law they got. We're going to give you another 6 months. And we're going to do it 3 times. That's many times. That means you're going to do 18 extra months in the penitentiary. I said, that's all right with me. So they brought me on in the court. And I'm telling you how you mess up a grand jury. Because the grand jury does not hear any of your evidence. They just hear what the government has to say. So when I was getting ready to walk in, I saw a guy from Terminal Island. Now, I was in Leavenworth. In those days, Terminal Island was like where they sent all the snitches. So it's a Negro, they used to wear them Applejack hats. He said, yeah, man, I guess we got to go on in and do that, you know, whatever. I said, I ain't got to do nothing. What he mean is, I guess we got to go in and snitch. Tell them what they want to know. So I said, oh, no, I ain't got nothing. So they got me in there. He said, Mr. So-and-so, they have the 6 questions of yes. They ask you, are you black? You say yes. You 6 feet tall? Yes. Is your mama named so? Yes, that's my mama. They just, you notice when you go to they just act yes, yes, yes. Then they start, so after the 5th question, I said yes. And another thing, when I was in Leavenworth, running around the yard, having a good time, and I told y'all I didn't know nothing, and you drugged me out here to Arizona to testify for you against somebody I don't even know. And I told you I didn't know nothing. See, this is talking to the grand jury. They're standing there like this. What we doing? We telling the grand jury, you didn't just, because he's trying to stop me, shut up. I say, look, you offered me to go home early. And I told you that's all right. Then you said you're going to keep me longer. If I don't testify, what good is my testimony, right, before these people here? You didn't ask me I can go home, told me I can go home early. I don't want to do that. Then you say you're going to keep me longer. What good is my testimony? What's that doing? That's showing the grand jury that anybody they bring in here, from jail especially, is coming under the pressure. They done offer them something, and basically any witness they call is what? Is a weak witness. And this governmental witch hunt is a corrupt witch hunt. What they do? You never heard about the case again. This is one of the biggest cases. They spent the most money they ever spent. Because when I got off the plane, the U.S. Marshal, the head, hey, so-and-so. I said, well, how you doing? He said, I had your case when you was in Algeria, when you were there, the Marshal running it off. Yeah, like he know, he talking to me like we homies. I mean, he really is. Birthday, where you born, your auntie, your mama, your girlfriend, I mean, he's running. Yeah, you remember when you was in Algeria, then you left there, went to Tanzania, and you was up there in Scandinavia? I said, well, I declare. So they knew the whole story, but blew their whole case. We able to blow their case because we know how their system works. See what I mean? They've been in school, and they don't know how the system works. We know how it works because they've been using it on us, isn't that right? But nobody listens to us. That's why we've been telling them for the last 25 years that half of the stuff happened on the news is the United States government doing it on its own, doing it to set us up so they can do anything to the Muslims they want to do. But you know the good thing about it, I'm going to wrap it up. I ain't going to be here long because the newspapers, the Europeans, the Americans is beginning to get a feel for what's going on.